What's going on, guys? It's your boy Joshua Forex. Welcome back to another great YouTube video. So if you're new to this channel, you already know what you're supposed to do, guys. Just hit the subscription button and make sure you like and subscribe. And if you can, just drop your comment. So today I want to talk about the reason why most traders will never be able to become profitable traders. The real psychology behind trading. And it's really true. It's an trading is an industry whereby 90% of traders usually lose, and 90% of traders are usually not able to attain profitability or the consistency that they usually seek into the markets. That's not me that have come up with it. That's usually a start. You can even search it up. You'll notice and you'll find out that 90% of traders usually lose to the markets and usually never be able to become profitable. Now doesn't mean that you also you will not be able to become profitable. No, it's usually a personal decision. It's usually a trader's decision. It's you versus you that are going to decide whether you're going to become profitable or are not, or you're going to remain in the large group of traders who are unprofitable. So today I want to talk about that topic, the reason why most traders will never be able to attain profitability, the psychology behind Forex. Now, I'm going to categorize this whole topic into three parts. That is time, failure, and psychology of trading. So that's what I'm going to talk about: time, failure, and psychology of trading, because this covers the whole majority part of what makes a trader to become profitable. So the first thing is time. So how did they come up with this whole topic? As I was know, guys, from my previous videos, you know by this time I am reading the book called "Outwitting the Devil" by Napoleon Hill. Now there was this topic on outwitting the devil. There's a certain chapter. Yeah, it talks about time. Now, when I was reading that book at that particular chapter, then I started to have some thoughts and some ideas. What can how can I remove this concept to apply it to trading? And then I came up with this whatever I'm trying to do, because I usually tell you whatever I've gone through or my experiences of part of trading, and then I make a video about that. So in that book of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, if you have not read that book, it's a very good book. I would suggest that you read, because it will open your mind and it will broaden your thinking and everything. So it's a very, very good by Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. So in that book, there is this quote that says that people are not born with wisdom or experience, but they are born with the ability to think. Now, through the elapse of time, they are able to gain wisdom or experience. I'm going to repeat again the quote from the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. He says that people are not born with experience or wisdom. They are born with the ability to think. Through the elapse of time, they will be able to gain wisdom and experience. So, how does this reflect to trading? Most traders come into trading with the wrong analogy. Like, let's say, even I ended up trading with the wrong analogy. I ended up trading thinking that by the first 3 months or 6 months, by me doing it on myself, I'll already be profitable, I'll already be making money, I'll already be becoming a millionaire. Boom! Fast forward 3 years, just down the line. See, because I entered with the wrong mentality. When I came into trading with the wrong mindset that it's a get rich quickly scheme, because that is what it had been protected outside there. That if you do it faster, that the trading is going to be fast. But remember, we usually have that ego. Even me, I had that ego that I can do it on my own. And doing it on your own means that the journey will be long, you see, because you're going to have to learn things on your own. You will have to make mistakes over and over for you to identify the right path, because you're not just going to go and identify this is the one and that's the right path for you. No, we are going to do countless mistakes, and fast forward is going to make you wrong, or to make you experience fail, and through experience fail, and that's how you gain wisdom. Now, another thing that people don't understand with time is very important, that you cannot cheat time. Time is there to differentiate between the best traders and the non-best traders. The reason why someone else is a better trader than you, or the reason why somebody else is a profitable trader than you, it's because of your experience. Now, how does experience come into trading? Experience comes from seeing the markets. Like for me, I can really say that I've watched the candles like 10,000 times than majority of the people. You see, like I've exposed myself to the markets like 10,000 times compared to the to the majority of a normal person that exposes himself. There was a time like last year, guys, I was telling you that I was exposing myself to the markets not less than 10 hours each day. Like 10 hours of my time each day was going to the markets, 10 to 12 hours each every single day. I don't know for how many months, I can't remember that. So experience comes from you exposing yourself to the market. That's why time is very crucial. You see, so we usually have this thinking that if we just do it, if you just get it, if I just start right now, I'm just going to become better. No, you can even have the best trader, but for you to become the best, also you will have to get the experience. And how do you get the experience? By you exposing yourself to the markets. So this exposing yourself to the markets for a longer period of time is very, very important. And most people usually don't don't usually talk about it, or they don't want to hear that part, but that is true, especially if you're doing it on your own. If you're doing it on your own, trust me, you have no any other option. You have to put in 10 to 12 hours each and every single day, because you are trying to do something which you don't have any clear direction. Nobody's showing you the path that you're supposed to do. You see, so you have to put in the hours and time. You must. Time must be the time is crucial. Time. You must pay time. Like what that book is saying, that people are not born with wisdom or experience, but they're born with the ability to think. See? So time requires its own time. You must be able to make mistakes and learn from them. You see, and that's how you are able to gain experience. So time is usually very crucial. Also, that time when last year at this particular time, I was wondering how did these profitable guys be able to become profitable? And I went online, like at that time I used to live YouTube and I used to watch them. And the most I like nine out of 10 of those profitable traders, like for example TJR, I can so TJR, and there's another called Trades, you can check him up on YouTube. The guy said that they used to spend 10 to 12 hours each day just looking at the markets, just being in the markets, whether that day that there's going to be trades or not. And then after that, 12 to 12 hours each day, they're going to back test again. You see, and I said, oh, so this is what they to make these guys to be profitable. Then I'm going to put myself through the same situation as these guys. So I'm going to spend 10 hours, 20 to 12 hours each day. Then if I have time again, I'm going to back test again. Saturdays and Sundays I usually had to do them just back testing each and every single day until I was able to come up with my own trading strategy. I'm not telling you guys to have your own trading strategy, no, about that. But if you can get a mentor, if you can get someone who's already had the experience, then it will make the journey to be shorter. I don't know that. Now, I can also paraphrase the concept of time in terms of concept. In the book also, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, it says that newly acquired knowledge, newly acquired knowledge is never the same as an elapsed knowledge. Newly acquired knowledge is never the same as elapsed knowledge. You as or as a trader who has just learned some concepts on trading, that is what is called newly acquired knowledge. You see, but this newly acquired knowledge, you have just gone to the internet and you have just read about ICT, maybe ICT strategy or ICT concept, and you have learned about that. Now, this is what Napoleon Hill paraphrases it as newly acquired knowledge is never compared to an elapsed knowledge. So, what is an elapsed knowledge? Elapsed knowledge is knowledge that has gone through time. And what makes an elapsed knowledge much more powerful than newly acquired knowledge is failure and the ability to think. You see, that's why he said that people are not born with wisdom or experience, but they're born with the ability to think. How is this ability to think going to help them? By being able to think on how they're going to use their failures to benefit them. Like, what lessons are you gathering from your failures? Because failures is what builds these traders. Failure is what separates me and you. Failure is what separates me from another profitable trader, from the distance wherever we are. The number of times that we have failed. That's what usually separates. And also the ability for us to use our mind to think. Because there's this quote by Henry Ford. Henry Ford is a very famous quote. He said that the hardest job in the world is to think. That's why most people don't engage in it. Like, I can 100% guarantee most people rarely think. Most people don't even want to use their mind, but the secret lies in thinking. When you have to sit down and ask yourself, Why did I have this loss? Why did this loss happen? How can I prevent this loss from happening? Why was I emotional at this particular point? How can I prevent myself from being emotional? What are some of the beliefs that are affecting me? How can I prevent these beliefs from affecting me in trading? So thinking, most people don't think, and that's like I usually tell there's this guy, he's my student, usually trade. I taught him trading, and I taught him everything I know about myself. That's why I came to find out that, man, mentoring someone it's very difficult because I can teach you everything I know. I can give you my whole experience, but what I can't give you is the fire and the burning desire for you to have whatever you want to have, for you, the burning desire for you to want to become profitable. You can know everything, but you don't have that burning desire. You don't have that the why. You see, that is what I can't give you. But I can give you the whole knowledge. I can give you my trading strategy and everything. But I can't give you the reason, the why, and the burning desire for you to actually want that's personal. That's upon you. You alone. So elapsed knowledge has gone through failures, has gone through many trials and errors. Has been you have modified it, you have learned about who you are, but newly acquired knowledge, you've just learned the concept. There's nothing that you have there's no failure that you have experienced, or there's no trials that you have gone through. So that's what makes the difference. So for you as a beginner trader, you need to understand that this is newly acquired knowledge. So how do I make it to an elapsed knowledge? Now it's you by showing up each every single day. It's by you analyzing yourself, by you self-analyzing yourself, by you taking trades each and every single, and then sitting down and using your mind to think and think, how can I prevent this? How can I become better? What is this that is stopping me? Is this affecting me? So thinking is the biggest part. Even in the book Outwitting the Devil, it is the thinking. Most people don't even think. So learn to use your brains and everything. Also, in that spirit, you can say that you can never be sure of a concept or knowledge that has not been tested. For you that you're using that means that you need to test it. You need to test it, and you need to know how it is performing. How does it perform during losing streaks? How does it perform during winning streak? How is your patience performing when there are no trades? So you need to test it so that it can become an elapsed knowledge or an elapsed trading strategy. So that's the most important thing is. And then the next thing is, in the book of Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil, there's this quote also. He said that time does alter, and that time does modify and alters knowledge. That which is useful today may not be useful or not may not be valid tomorrow. Like time does modify and alters knowledge. That which is useful today may not be useful tomorrow. The same thing comes into trading. The same thing also reflects into trading. The concept that you learned last year, or that you learned when you are beginning trading, may not work the next few months. Like, as you know, guys, I always give examples about myself. I had like this after March, I guess after March, the reason I told you I had a break-even month, then or maybe April, I had to like adapt. I had to, no, how can I had to adapt to the market conditions because whatever it used to happen, it never used to happen. You see? So I had to adapt again to what market conditions were going through, whatever my market conditions are going through. So I had to now use my brain again, think. And this is the secret I'm not telling you guys. I used to think again and ask myself. So used to ask, this is where my liquidity point, but why is price reversing in the opposite direction? At my liquidity point, what can I learn from this? You see, and that's how I was able to develop new concept that is going on adapting to this market, new market conditions. Now, in this code, it said time does alters or modify a knowledge, and that which is useful today may not be useful tomorrow. That's the same thing. What you know today about trading, or just because you know at this is where you used to take a trade, does not mean that in the next few months that is going to be here, because the market changes. Markets are dynamic. What works today may not work tomorrow. So also you need to be flexible. Your trading system needs to be flexible to be able to adapt to the market conditions, because they are never static. And most traders and the biggest traders where unprofitable traders make is they usually tend to remain rigid. They usually tend to make their system to become rigid. They don't want to change. Now you are trading in an environment whereby changes are happening, market conditions change, they can never be rigid. So you as a person, you also have to be flexible to change to market conditions. It's that simple. And that how does that change in market conditions come with you using your mind, but most people don't want to use their mind. That's why they usually remain rigid. They remain with their concept the same way it is, not knowing that market conditions have changed, the algorithm has changed, and then you are wondering what is happening. You see, you're not able to get winning trades like the way you used to. It's because market conditions change and you remain the same. You see, that's the difference. So be able to become flexible and adapt to market conditions. That's why it says that in the book of Napoleon Hill, time does alters and modifies a knowledge. That which is useful today may be invalid tomorrow, or even next month, or even the next few years. So you have to be able to understand your trading strategy, understand the markets, know when the markets have already changed the algorithm or the markets have already adapted. So you can also adapt to what is currently the market is currently doing. You see, so that's a very important thing about time, guys. And he gave also in that book also, Napoleon Hill, I think the devil is saying that he said that people, like, we can all have, like, for me, we can all have 3 years experience in the market, but trust me, the experience, we can all have 3 experience in the market, but there's a big difference between me, trader A, and trader B. So how does this difference comes with it? Time. Trader A just used his 3 years experience just staring at the markets, not doing anything, remaining rigid, doesn't want to change. He just stares at the market, just the market goes and moves and moves and moves, and 3 years have passed, he has not learned anything. Then we have trader B, who buys, he just not stares at the market, he looks at the market, he learns from the market, he asks himself questions about what the market is doing. Why is the market reacting at this particular point? How can I learn from this? How can I improve this? What is stopping me? Why is this making me emotional? How can I prevent this? So you see, you can all have the same 3 years experience. You can all have spent 3 years, but trader A and trader B are totally different people, because trader B learns from the market. He does not just spend time from the market. So you need to spend time while also learning yourself by using your mind to think. That's because that's where the knowledge and the wisdom comes from. You see, so that's what about time, how time applies into trading. So I can also let me just finish on that there. And then the next thing is failure or adversity. So what basically is for every adversity that you go through, once you have already acquired your knowledge, know that now you have to, time has to pass through for that newly acquired knowledge, for it to become an elapsed knowledge, for it to become an elapsed knowledge which is productive. And how does it have to? It has to go through failures and temporary defeats. So adversity or failure, there's this quote that says that for every adversity that you go through, there's always a seed of great or of equal advantage. Like for every bad thing that you go through, there's always something that you can derive a good thing from. So it's a duality. For every bad thing, there's a good thing. For every dark, there is light. So that's how life is, and that's how life operates. So it has to go through failures, and that's failure is what differentiates the time. You see, like for me, I've suffered so many failures. Like I say, like that in trading. That is, so that's what has made me to improve. So you need to understand that there are so many temporary defeats that are going to meet along the way, and those temporary defeats are just there to make you become the trader that you want to become, or for you to how to move this newly acquired knowledge to make it into a lapsed knowledge, you see, or knowledge that has experience, or knowledge that has wisdom. It must go through this. Know that behind the behind that behind that in your mind that this is normal. It has to go through this. And what is going to differentiate you between trader A and B is you to be able now to use your mind to think, able to ask yourself questions. How am I going to improve this? How is this mistake? Is it affecting me? How am I being emotional? What can I learn from the market? Why is market reacting at this particular price? The zone? Why is the market doing this and this? So it's the ability for you to use your mind. Then you're going to be able to transform this newly acquired knowledge and make it into an elapsed knowledge which has wisdom and experience. So failure is a must, and failure is okay. And there's a difference between failure and temporary defeats. Failure is when you 100% give up and say that you cannot take it any longer. When you 100% throw in the towel, that's when now people can say you have failure. But anything that it comes through your way and you don't give up. You just pick yourself up each and every time you fall. That's never failure. That's only temporary defeats, and temporary defeats are always there to make each person to become stronger and better. Now I'm going to talk about the psychology of Forex. So the reasons why most traders will never become profitable is they don't usually take responsibility. Majority of traders don't usually take much responsibility. This quote that says that the 1% rule. Your life changes the moment you take responsibility and understand that everything that happens in your life, you are 100% your fault. It's your fault. You created it. So most traders they don't usually take responsibility. They usually just find other reasons to blame. They usually blame someone else. They blame Trump, they blame news, they blame the broker, they blame, like, they don't want to take responsibility. That's why if you don't take responsibility for your own mistake, like, if you don't take responsibility, how are you going to improve? So instead of them saying that I am the one that I'm wrong, they usually find someone else to blame. It's Trump. It's because the market conditions are terrible. You're saying market conditions are terrible and other people are busy getting payouts with the same market conditions. How is that even possible? You're saying it's because of news, or it's because of the broker. Oh, the broker did me this. It's because of the pro farm did that. It's always other people, but never them. They usually have just to, or it's because my mentor I don't know what he's so right, he's so rude, he's so harsh on me. That's why I'm making this loss. No, that's where most traders usually go wrong, and this is the reason why most traders will never become profitable. Is they don't take responsibilities. What I learned is you have to take responsibility, whether it's your fault or not your fault, whether you caused it or not caused it. As long as you're the one trading, you have to take responsibilities of everything. And once you take the responsibility, the next question is you have to ask yourself is what can I learn from this? How can I improve myself to make sure that this mistake that I made there does not repeat? Number two is they don't self-reflect. Most traders don't self-reflect. Like when they win a trade, it's okay. When they lose the trade, it's not them. When they lose the trade, it's not their fault. It's not them. They don't have anything else to do. They just go away, you see, and they come back again. They repeat the same mistake. Whether they win, they don't care. Whether they lose, they don't care. So they don't do any self-reflection. You see, for me, when I win, that's I can assume that. But when I lose, I must do a self-reflection. I have to ask myself three things. Is this a probabilistic loss? Is this a method problem loss? Is this a psychological problem loss? If it's a method problem loss, how can I improve on this? How can I make sure that the next time it happens, I will be able to perceive it much faster and able to prevent this from happening? So we are able to self-reflect. You are able to sit down and think. That's why Henry Ford said that the hardest thing in the world is to think. That's why most people are not able to engage in it. So self-reflection, most traders they don't even journal their trades. If you haven't watched the video on how to journal your trades, make sure you go and watch it. The third is the reason why most traders will never become profitable. They blame outside sources. Majority of the things that is happening in the trading space right now, all of them are blaming Trump. It's because of the poorest market conditions, or it's because of this and this. You will never improve with that kind of mindset. You'll never become profitable with that kind of mindset. As I was saying is they blame outside sources. They don't want to. They just blame everything. The main narration that goes to right now is because of the trans market conditions. That's the market. No, it's never that. People are still making payouts. People are still passing perform challenges. People are still making money. So people usually have to. They have that blame game. So you need to change that. If you don't have to change that, then you'll never become profitable. The next reason is they don't adapt. They don't adapt. They just remain rigid. As I told you guys, you are in a market environment whereby the market changes. The market is never rigid. What works today will not work out tomorrow. The same as what Napoleon Hill said. Time time does alters and modifies, and whatever used to happen, whatever used to be useful will not be useful. So it's upon you just to adapt to the market condition. So stop complaining that your strategy is not performing well in this kind of market conditions because you did not adapt to the new current market conditions. Then the last thing is the reason why most traders will never become profitable is they don't learn from anything. They don't want to use your mind. That's what Napoleon Hill said. He said that everybody, like what's people are not born with knowledge or wisdom, but they're born with the ability to think. They don't want to use their thinking. And And when they are able to use the ability to think through the elapse of time, they are able to gain wisdom and experience. So for you to gain wisdom and experience, you also have to think. You also have to use your mind. You also have to ask yourself questions and get yourself answers from yourself. You see, there's this concept that Napoleon he talks about is the other self. I usually call it the high intelligence. I told you guys you can go and read the book. It's a very good book. Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. It's a very good book. So I'll urge you guys to also read that book and also to start using your own mind. Start asking yourself questions. Start asking yourself questions on how you're going to improve. Ask yourself when you're staring at the charts instead of you just staring at the charts. Learn from the charts. Ask questions on whatever the market is doing. Ask yourself questions. Why is this market reacting at this particular price? Or why is the market not? Why did the market not react to my particular to my zone and reacted to this zone? So what is special about this zone that is not special about this zone? So that's how you are able to think, and that's how you're able to acquire knowledge or experience. So, guys, if you found this video to be very useful, it's your boy Josh Effects. Make sure you hit the subscription button. Do not forget, guys, to hit the subscription button and see you in the next video.